Welcome to episode 40 of the OVW Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back. My name is Jack Minoaks.
I'm Behind, and I want to welcome our guest this week, OVW announcer and
friend of the show.
Yes, and friend of the show, Carmen Michael.
It's so good to be here, guys.
Thank you so much
This is
for
a comfy couch.
I've been known to nap on it a few times.
Thanks for joining us, Carmen. Thanks for joining us.
It's good to be here.
We have another guest. He's with us every week, though. His name's Tiny Brian. He's floating around in the chat room. Say hello, Tiny Brian.
I'm a guest. Nobody's offered me a drink.
Hi, Brian.
Hi.
You need a sody?
I'm good. Thank you. I am in the chat room as at OVW Podcast right now, and I'm watching for your questions, comments, complaints, concerns about and questions specifically for Carmen, who is with us tonight. Very nice to see you, Carmen. Thanks for waving. I'm waving back. No one can see it but you.
Hey, no one can see you back there, but you look handsome, sir.
Thank you. I feel handsome.
Carmen, I feel like we're going to have some fun tonight. Brian Hines, what happens if we are granted a super chat, gifted a super chat?
If we get a super chat,
Don't tell me I'll get slimed.
No.
Okay.
That's a
I
different
wish we
show.
had the infrastructure for that.
That-
Malachi gets slimed, actually.
Super chats go to the front of the line. If you have something you desperately want to say, a question you want to ask, a burning question, a super chat is the way to get us to stop what we're doing and read your question or comment on air.
But enough about us. Carmen, thanks for joining us
They
tonight.
are piling in here in the chat room.
Oh, no.
Everybody's saying hi. So, hey, hi, chat room from all
Hi,
of us.
chat.
Let's look and see who's here. Roy. Hey, Roy.
Mama Mammoth is here.
Mama Mammoth is here.
I can't see your chats, but just know I love you all.
Mike.
So, yeah, submit those, and I will pass those along for you guys if you have questions for Michael. But you guys go ahead.
Carmen.
Carmen.
Please.
It's both.
Please.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
I got two first names. It's beautiful.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
So let's start with you. If there was anything that you wanted to tell our guests, the OVW faithful, about yourself, what would it be? Let's start there.
Oh man, where do I start? No, it's been a blessing to be here at OVW. It's always been a huge goal of mine. I never really thought I'd be in the wrestling world. Always wanted to be. Used to be in a band back in the day. You know, I mentioned before the podcast started, you guys, my technical background.
Yeah.
And now, like, you know, after my brother passed away, I decided to go full blown, like, life's short. I'm going to do everything that I want to do. So, with that being said, I was like, all right, let me try the wrestling thing. So, ring announcing, doing commentary, going on 5 years now. But, it's now my full-time job.
Congratulations.
Travel 4 or 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. I think the most I did in a row was 10 days in a row. But yeah,
Different
so
cities
stay
every
pretty
time?
busy. Different cities.
The only thing I've ever done 10 days in a row is sleep.
I don't do that often.
Well, I could tell you had one of the largest energy drinks I've ever seen in my life when you walked in.
This is my third of the day. I'm not going to lie to you.
So you chose to go full in on wrestling kind of after a big moment in your life. Was that an obvious choice for you? It was like, hey, you mentioned life is short. Was it wrestling that you knew you wanted to gravitate toward, or?
It wasn't immediate. It was like in most things in life. It was just kind of like the dominoes fall a certain way.
Sure.
And then you end up, you know, in a position where something opens up. For me, you know, little behind the scenes, I've worked as an audio engineer, technical director, stagehand for all of my adult life. So I was actually at a Southern Honor Wrestling show, Canton, Georgia. Shout out Gary Lamb. And I was on the way to a show. It was like my friends helped run the show. I had a bunch of friends on it. And then on the way to the show, Gary messaged me, says, "Hey, do you know how to run lights?" I said, "Gary, I'm an audio guy, but for you, I will learn." He says, "Come in the building as soon as you get here. We'll figure it out."
Yeah.
So I learned how to do the lights that day. And I can't remember the exact show, but I know after that I started running lights. That's how I got my foot in the door with the wrestling business. And then there I was like running lights for Rock and Roll Express and like all these names they were bringing in, which was awesome.
man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because Ricky Morton actually came up to me. He comes up, reaches his hand out. "Hi, nice to meet you, Ricky." I was like, I know who you are.
Yeah.
I'm Carmen. But that's how I got my foot in the door. Then the pandemic hits. New South Pro Wrestling is my home promotion. It's where I've worked the majority of my career. They're based in Alabama, not the Kentucky one.
Yeah,
I know
we already made that
there's
distinction.
a clear distinction. I work for the black and orange one down in Alabama. It was during the pandemic. They had a wrestling tryout, and I was like, okay, well, I don't want to wrestle, but this is my way to kind of get my foot in the door. I used to be in a band, used to sing, so I'm like, you know what? Let me try out ring announcing. Let's see how that goes. Maybe that's the direction I want to go.
Let's pause right there.
Yes.
What was the band's name?
Throne of Eden.
What kind of music did you play?
It was a lot.
I'm going to bet that sounds very much hardcore Christian music.
No.
No, okay.
Avenged Sevenfold, Bullet for My Valentine.
And your instrument of choice was?
I was the singer.
Oh,
Nice.
nice. But you did mention playing other instruments.
Yes, so in that band I sang, played guitar live. Outside of that, I used to play. I say play very loosely. It's like one of those. What do they say? Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah,
Sure.
So singing, guitar, bass, keyboard, drums.
I get it, man. Whenever you're trying to find your space in kind of like independent music or local music, the more stuff you can do halfway good, the more chances you're playing live. I totally get it.
So that was a fun life. We released an album called The Final Days. You can still stream it. All platforms, I think Spotify, Apple Music.
Plug it one more
YouTube
time.
Music.
Throne of Eden?
Throne of Eden, The
There we
Final
go.
Days.
And,
It oddly enough, like,
adding it to my playlist
So
as we speak.
so still to this day, I have I have still I think one more box of CDs left over. And I sell them at my merch table at these wrestling shows.
Oh, that's
and almost
awesome.
every
That's
night
great.
they sell out. I'll put out
Really?
a stack of like anywhere between 5 to 10 and they sell out.
Oh, that's
It's
great.
awesome. I actually sold some at OVW on the Halloween show.
Oh, that's
Everyone kept
great.
asking me, what are you dressed as? I'm like, I'm dressed as 2015 me. I had on my skinny jeans. I had on my leather vest, had my eyeliner.
I love that.
So you went full out with this. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We got some questions from the
We
chat.
do. We have some questions from
Oh,
the
we
chat.
love
no.
questions from the
Opening
chat.
up with half of the Wisco chicks who join us tonight.
Hey.
Wendy.
Hey.
Wendy
made it.
asks, "Do we get the friends and family discount at Chili's now?"
So for those of you who
Yeah, I
don't
was
know,
going to say, go ahead and explain to
Oh,
us
man,
that
yeah.
one.
So on that jack of all trades thing, obviously wrestling broadcaster, ring announcer, commentator, interviewer,
Lights guy.
audio engineer, technical director, musician, actor. Part of that is, I've done a
Got to
few
do some serving.
a few pretty good projects. The latest was, oddly enough, a music video from Chili's,
Okay.
which has since gone viral. Ride the Dente. It's a collaboration between Chili's and NASCAR.
Okay.
So oddly enough, when
I
I
have
got,
seen this. I had forgotten it.
You're-
I may have
oh,
blocked it out.
I'm in the very beginning of it.
This
are.
is a real thing?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
this is
my God, we
absolutely real.
have to see this. We have to see this.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It is a real thing. So to peel back the curtain a little bit, I get cast in this thing. It says undisclosed artist music video, and they're like, "Hey, I know you said you wanted to be a concert goer, but we're casting you as a news director or a news anchor." Because like one of the photos I sent in, I'm in my suit from a wrestling show.
Well, yeah.
And I'm confused because like 2 days later, I get a text message that says, "Hey, this is so-and-so, the stylist for the Chili's commercial." And I'm thinking, when did I sign up for a Chili's commercial? And it turns out it's a little column A, a little column B, because it was a music video, but it's part of this ad campaign. So Chili's had its own race for NASCAR, the Ride the Dente 200, and then they also
Who knew?
They also played this music video and commercial during the Daytona 500.
Wow.
Well, and you're from Alabama, so everyone in Alabama sees the Daytona 500, and
Yes.
and they see your
My
face right at
phone
the
has been
beginning.
blowing up nonstop. And this is something I noticed. This poor Chili's social media person, I know it because like I'm looking on Twitter, and I go to quote tweets, and I'm reading through it. And there's a couple like, oh, this song's a banger. Oh, Grammys, check this out. And then like the other 90% of quote tweets are tagging me like, yo, Carmen's in this. So I know there's social media person's like, who the heck is this guy?
Oh no, they're bringing you back for the sequel.
And they
man.
click my profile. They're like, we brought a wrestling guy in?
So did you always? I'm sorry. Do we have no more chat
Oh,
questions?
we do. I was just going to say Chili should sponsor OVW.
Yes.
but,
or this show specifically. Chili, send us a check.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for some gift cards.
I'm not sure what this means, so I'm just going to read it as it was said.
Oh,
from
Oh, I don't
Mikhail.
like the sound of that.
Mikhail Valiant asks, "I'll be the idiot and set up a joke. Has Carmen ever been to San Diego?" Oh, I had to read it to Garrett. Yeah. Oh, where in the world?
That's a first. I've never heard that.
I was gonna say
I'm
how many.
sure.
Never.
Because my name's Jackman. I'm sure you could imagine the jokes that I've heard 1,000 times. With a name like Carmen, I know that was not.
Oh,
the-
yeah. Carmen Sandiego, Carmen Electra, Cartman from South Park.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good
Well,
though.
yeah.
You know, he's all right. I guess. I guess I'd rather be Cartman than Carmen Sandiego.
I don't know.
Or
You look
Carmen
good at
Electra.
Fedora. One other question from the other half of the Wisco Chicks. Ren asks, "What's your favorite cheese for a grilled cheese sandwich?"
Ooh.
Wendy and Ren always with the food.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but I am a grilled cheese connoisseur.
Really?
Now, what does that
That
mean?
is-
We're getting to all the important issues with
yes.
you, aren't we?
Yeah, but
Yes.
like I said I knew we were about to have fun tonight.
I mean, everyone likes a good grilled cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Oh, yeah.
white bread and some Kraft singles. That's okay.
Yeah.
But occasionally I'll go all out. I try to stay on my diet, but occasionally I'll go get some brioche bread.
Okay.
I'll get just a nice variety of cheeses. I'll just go to the supermarket, like, you know what? I'm going to grab this Swiss, and I'm going to grab this Colby Jack, and I'm going to grab this provolone, and I'm just going to see what happens.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just gonna see what happens whenever I make this grilled cheese.
yes.
It's very
and
funny.
it's always delicious. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Throw some bacon in there.
I'm very much into
yeah.
this because the job that I worked with Dalton McKenzie. back
Oh,
in the
right,
day,
right.
I had a
Look
I-
for that interview soon.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm wearing his shirt right here. So I had to make collection calls for this place. So that was my first order of business in the morning. But I was new there, and I brought in a griddle.
Where's my money, Brian?
Pretty
Where's my
much.
money?
And I made bacon wrapped grilled cheese. And I was flipping these with my left hand while I was calling people, demanding payment with my right hand. And I was cutting them into quarters and just like making them one
That's
or two
efficient.
at a time.
That is remarkably efficient.
Long story short, I made friends with everybody real quick. Everybody was like, "Oh, you're the guy with the bacon wrapped grilled cheese, yeah."
I mean,
Hey, I'm just going to come look to see what you're doing over here.
let's be clear. Brian has pretty much a Hobbit kitchen in the corner of our production floor right now.
Yeah.
I yesterday had I had many meatball sandwiches for lunch that he just conjured out of good thoughts.
When I still had my technical director job before I quit and went full time with wrestling, legitimately in my office I had a mini fridge and I had a George Foreman grill.
Yeah, yeah, that is exactly how I roll.
And that people would just be walking up into my office and they'd be like, "What's that smell?" And I'd just be grilling a steak.
Like there's only so many
What'd you
hours
want
in
me
the
to
day.
do? Go to Panera across the street? No.
Yeah, you are a man after my own heart. Seriously, I cook in here every single day. Every
Well,
day.
and as far as the grilled cheese conversation goes, grilled cheese, toasted bread, butter, beer cheese, mayonnaise, tomato, and bacon. That is the
I feel like we're adding too many ingredients to this.
it's really the tomato and bacon that really
Yeah.
it'll change your life. And you're a grilled cheese connoisseur. I'm surprised you had not heard of such a combination, but
For me, I'd keep it simple. It's cheese and occasionally bacon. Anything past that, I don't feel like it's a grilled cheese. Like then you're entering melt territory.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
fair.
I see exactly where you're coming
That's
from.
That's where
But
the
with
line
tomato,
is.
that's almost tomato soup. So I mean, it blurs the lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like shades of gray.
I love it.
So you
And I know what is for lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, go ahead and write that
taking
down.
notes?
Actually, yeah,
Grilled
I'll have one of those
cheese.
too. So you mentioned you played in a band, audio visual guy. Did I hear you say actor in there?
Yes.
What was were you? What
Have you
was?
heard about his Chili's music video?
Well, I did
Come
hear
on.
about that. I did hear about that. Was there anything else from an acting perspective that you?
So I've been in a few music videos.
Okay.
A couple for Fozzy.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
Islander, which was another fun thing. That was another one that kind of bridged the gap between wrestling because we shot the music video at AR Fox's wrestling school, WWA 4.
Okay.
And music video also features AC Mack and some guy named Austin Theory. I don't know what he's up to these
I've
days.
never heard of him before.
But yeah, it's been fun. I was cast in the show Heels on season 2
Okay.
as a background wrestler, and that was really the first project in a couple years that I had. And then since then, they've been kind of steadily rolling in. There's a lot of them I can't talk about yet, but I filmed
sure.
a couple of movies last year, a couple TV shows. So
Right.
Wow.
Now.
once they release, I will be able to talk about them. But
We'll have to have
and
you
then
back.
also December was in the Morgan Wallen music video for Smile. So
Man, you're all over
it's
the place.
it's been nice. I don't sleep, so
He's just one of the largest selling artists of the current age. No big deal or anything.
Yeah.
So what? How do I want to say this? Did it always seem like you wanted kind of a life in front? I know that you worked behind the camera mostly in your prior job. Did you always kind of aspire for a life on stage or in front of the camera?
it's weird to me because I've always been a very shy and reserved person. I'm very, I stay to myself. It takes a lot for me to welcome someone in.
Sure.
Like, I've got some of the best friends I could ever ask for. They know me inside and out. We joke. We can talk about anything. We talk about life. We talk about struggles, fears, whatever. But, like, generally speaking, as a person, like, I'm just quiet, reserved. I kind of sit back and watch everyone, see how things are going before I kind of make my way into the conversation. So it's weird to me that one day my friends are like, hey, man, like, you should be in this band that I'm starting.
Yeah.
And then I come in, we rehearse. I'm like, okay, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And it goes from just like practicing to then we play on stage. And I'm like, I had that crowd in the palm of my hands. That was kind of awesome.
Nothing like it.
It's like
man.
getting to control the social interaction
Yeah.
is something that I like. I like being able to show up to a wrestling show or get on. I still will hop on stage occasionally and sing for my friend's band. It's so fun to me to be able to control the amount of social interaction I get. I get on stage, everyone on this side make some noise, like whatever, like all that come off, high fives, handshakes, pictures, whatever. The second I get in the car, let's go back to listen to my podcast, listen to music, and I'm just back to myself. Like, it's nice to be able to control that. Like,
How do you think that you kind of avoid that inevitable loneliness of a performer? Because I know, for me personally, and a lot of people that I've sat in this very couch, that moment where you get to stop managing the social interaction, it can feel a little lonely. How do you manage that?
it's hard to, especially in wrestling. Just these past 2.5 years, over 100,000 miles, and that's a shoot. Over 100,000 miles. I've worked over 200 shows. Like, it's one of those things. Like, it gets lonely on the road, especially when you're driving by yourself. Most of the time, I am. Occasionally, we'll get a carload together, and those always make the best road.
Oh, yeah.
Those always have the best stories. I've got my one little crew that I like to really take on the road, and we have a good time. But, like, most of those car rides, especially when I'm driving, because I don't think a lot of people realize this, I live in Alabama. So
I did not realize that
Yeah,
before.
you were in
Every-
Alabama this morning, if I'm not mistaken.
So every week for OVW, I'm driving from Alabama to Louisville, then back to Alabama, and then I go about my Friday show, my Saturday show, my Sunday show, and occasionally my Monday show. Like it never ends. Like it's always.
What is something that stuck out to you kind of in the time that you've been doing wrestling that applies to your everyday life?
Ooh, that's a good question.
We don't have to have an answer right now. The other question I would ask is there anything that you took from being on stage in a band, anything like that, over to wrestling?
Oh, yeah. A lot of the ad-libbing. Because as y'all are aware, live events, things can go haywire.
Oh, yeah.
I've had promoters come up to me and say, hey, can you buy me 5 minutes? And I'm like, bet. And then I'll be like, don't forget, folks, the raffles are going on, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then our next event is blah, 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 blah. Don't forget, we have so-and-so over here signing autographs. You don't want to miss that.
Check out the merch stand.
Yeah. Just shooting from the hip, just talking off the top of my head, see what happens. Like,
Any birthdays, just kind of.
Yeah, all the stuff. Do we have anything from the chat?
I actually have a question.
Yes.
Please.
So you've been doing all this acting and this music videoing and this rock and roll lifestyle and getting to know Chris Jericho and the whatnot. Another member of the OVW family who does a lot of acting and stuff and other things is Al Snow. He had Unnatural. He had Kentucky for Christmas or
Homeless for the Holidays.
Christmas. Homeless for the Holidays, where he played Kentucky Joe. And he's got other things. Any interest in working with Al Snow in some movie at some point?
Always. Movies, podcasts. I'll go to the grocery store with Al Snow. I just like being around the guy. He's hilarious.
He is, man. He's quite the trip.
He may crack jokes on my mom, but
He does that to everybody.
Yeah, he's never done that to me. Actually, I just don't want to talk about it. It was too much. It was a lot when he did it to me. So you get to be around Al. You get to be around honestly a bunch of really, really cool
hanging
guys.
out with Mick Foley on a weekly basis for a while there was just wild.
Was that someone you saw on television growing up?
Oh yeah.
Is that I guess the further question is, what was your relationship to wrestling before?
I was always a huge wrestling fan. I've told this story before on pretty much every podcast, actually. But when I was a baby, my grandma said the only thing that would get me to just sit down and shut up was wrestling.
Wow.
Most specifically, Sting.
You were a little stinger?
When he came on with the blonde flat top,
Oh,
colorful
yeah.
face paint, I would just stop what I was doing. Didn't matter what I was doing. I would just stop and stare at the TV. And then that never changed. My entire life, Sting's been my favorite wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you I was him every year for Halloween, I want you to understand I meant every single year. I took no years off.
So were you always as Sting changed? Did
Yes.
your thing? Oh, that's dope.
My mom,
So by the time you were 11, how old were you when you did the Crow Sting for the first time?
I don't remember. I did it 4 or 5 maybe.
Oh man.
Oh wow!
And then Wolfpack Sting happened. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I need the red paint.
He
this
doesn't
year.
wear this anymore, Mom.
Come on, you should know this.
No, it's funny too because I think it was the first Halloween show I did with New South down in Alabama.
The real one.
The real one. Oh God, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that, aren't I? No, the first.
It's usually
Halloween,
us. It's usually us saying the dumb stuff. So
The first Halloween show I did commentary for them. They're like, "Well, you have to dress up," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna do it." So I went full Wolfpack Sting, red paint. I shaved this just into the goatee.
oh, okay, nice.
Painted the goatee extra black.
That's commitment, man.
Black leather jacket, the red and black gloves, everything.
Wow.
I've actually got I've shared this on social media, but I got a picture of me and Kinsey Page doing a little stare down. She's dressed as Undertaker, and I posted it online. I was like, dream match.
So real quick, if anyone wanted to find you on social media, where could they find you?
On Instagram and on X, I am at Carmen M. Childers.
CHILDERS.
Correct. CARMEN MCHILDERS.
Carmen M. Childers. For all of you guys in the chat, go ahead and give him a follow.
Only way to keep up with my incredibly busy life.
Yeah.
And do a favor for us, for any new followers you might get. Go ahead and post any of your old Sting Halloween photographs.
Oh,
I think
you bet.
that
Yeah,
we
we're
know
looking
we
for
know
those.
they
You
want to
bet.
see them.
Yeah, we need to see this for sure.
We're moving right along. Actually, this is a supersized first segment here on the OVW Fan Zone Live. We do have a couple of housekeeping things that we need to get to. Tiny Brian, I'll throw it over to you really quick for.
Well, let's start with Mr. Hines, who is our resident archivist.
I will throw it over to you, Mr. Hines.
Well, we'll talk about it. Recently, you guys may have heard of a little thing called the Mick Foley.
The Dude Love Dance Off.
Yeah, the Dude Love Dance Off. There it is.
Yeah.
So you
I
want to
recall.
show?
What?
I recall.
Yeah.
So you want to? We covered a new set of artifacts that are going to be going up here in the studio, and Brian, why don't you share those with the fans? Show them what we got.
In
Yeah, 'cause I don't
case you
think
didn't tune in last time, we managed to secure the pens. Can we?
I can confirm those are the pins.
Okay, so we have somebody in studio who can confirm that these are the pens. If you're a member of the OVW faithful, you know Mr. Joe. He's an incredible guy, very lovable, very hard to miss. He asked me if we would like these pens to live in the studio, and I said, well, yes, sir, Mr. Joe, we sure would. And then a little while later, he said, would you like me to have them signed? And, of course, the answer is yes, but in the back of my head, I was intrigued as to how they would be able to write their signatures in such a small fashion on such a thing as...
Well, boy, howdy, they
ball
did
pen.
it. They did.
They sure did.
On the
I'll be dang.
most basic entry, the gray plastic Bic pens.
But so Mr. Joe entrusted you with these, and you actually, for posterity, recorded a little video.
Yes, Mr. Joe wanted me to share this video with the fans to let them know that these are indeed the pens that were used in the signing of the contract for the Dude Love Dance-Off. And do we have that ready?
And Joe, as promised, I have not put them on eBay yet. Those are the real pins that you...
Hey, there is no yet.
Yeah, let's go to that video.
All right.
Hey guys, this is Mr. Joe from Ohio Valley Wrestling. Just in case anybody was wondering the authenticity of the signing tonight, I have the in-ring used pins from Jack Vaughn and the dude himself. We're giving them to the OVW podcast for archives and for records. Let's do this.
Yeah, that was the authentication video, so to speak.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Joe's always been such a great guy to us.
Yeah, and a great sport.
And a great, yeah, really, truly like the definition of a great sport.
And a great kilt.
And
Yes.
he knows he finally found some weirdos that will take any weird backstage thing that he manages to come up with, because we have quite a few of them around here.
Yes, we do.
Was there something else, Tiny Brian?
Let's hold that other thing toward closer to the end of the show.
Cool. So do we want to go ahead and take a break?
Yes, let's go ahead and take our break. And you're watching OVW Fan Zone live with Carmen Michael, and we will be right back. I don't know how I did that. Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Have you seen how cool this shirt is?
I see that.
You know, we have a whole TeePublic shop that sells these.
I did not know that, no.
We do, yes. And we have links in all of our social media about it. You can get this, or you can get the unofficial.
You can get this, or you can get that.
That is absolutely true.
I honestly don't know.
Hey, my name's
what
Mark
just
from the
happened.
OVW Fan Zone.
A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. From counting the lights in your local armory to main eventing in Korakuen Hall in Tokyo, Japan. Collar and elbow. The wrestling brand.
I'm Sarah and I'm with the OVW Fan I'm Christian, and I'm with the OVW Fan.
I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude. Without you, there is no OVW. Without your passion, your energy, your unwavering support, there is no us. There's no talent, no production. Without you, there's no OVW. Thank you for being the driving force behind everything we do. The unsung heroes of our saga. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, OVW fans. We can't do it without you.
Hey, it's me, Cal Hero, and I am at the OVW Fan Zone. Come on, come hang out.
Welcome back, OVW Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back. My name is Jack Oaks.
I'm Brian Hines.
And this is
Cal Hero.
Cal Hero, the Fanny Pack Kid, has joined us tonight.
Cal, you seem different.
You got a little different energy tonight, Cal.
Different diet plan, new workout routine. Been doing a lot of squats.
No, seriously. We are sitting down with Carmen, Michael. Carmen, thanks for joining us tonight. We usually don't go that long in the first segment, but we're rolling.
That's
tonight.
my bad.
Oh no, I could tell as soon as you sat down. I was like, we're gonna have fun tonight.
You guys
baby.
notice I didn't even really kind of wave at you or anything. I'm like, nope, we're loving it. We're gonna go right to the half hour. It'll be fine.
But we're not the only people loving it. Our chat's loving it too, right? We've got some questions from the
I've
chat.
gotten a question during the break.
Oh no.
WWE Fan Guy 26.
Easy for you to say.
No, it's not. Nothing is. Wants to know what brought Carmen to OVW, and is he familiar with the history of OVW?
So yes. So I've had the great pleasure to work a lot of promotions. I think I've worked close to 20 states now. Everything from Game Changer Wrestling to Combat Zone Wrestling, New South. I'd kind of travel around nonstop. But the wrestling fan in me has always been a big history buff. I was actually able to do commentary in the building that the original Ring of Honor show was held. Which was incredible to me. With that being said, OVW was always like this massive goal of mine. Something I never thought I'd be able to do, honestly. But
what was the appeal?
So
There's lots to like.
It's the history. It's you look at the list of names that have been through. You look at, especially on the broadcasting side, like I jokingly, my best friend Rob Weathers. I do commentary with him. I think we've done commentary 13 or 14 different promotions across the country.
Okay.
Hey, you took that act on the road, man.
Yes. But I sent him a photo. It's Jim Ross and Jim Cornette sitting down at the commentary booth at OVW. And I was like, man, and now they got Carmen Michael. What a downgrade. but no, it's about the history. It's everyone who's been through here. Like, obviously, you have your John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Batista, Randy Orton, but then you have, some of the people from this generation, your CM Punks, your Cody Rhodes, like all these people have come through, and it's always been like this sort of like holy land, like this mythical place that like only the elite star, no pun intended there, like only the like top of the top people go to.
Right.
So like I never imagined I would be here, which it all happened. There was a seminar tryout with Gabe Sapolsky maybe a year and a half ago, so I 2 years ago perhaps. But
how do you get your foot in the door for something like that?
It literally you get in line before they shut the door, and you pay them the money, and you say, "I would like to do this, please."
Sure.
But they do all these matches, they're tryout matches for Gabe to say, okay, well, Luke Curtis, like, oh, he's really good, like, but at me being there as a ring announcer commentator, I'm not there to wrestle, so he's like, you just ring announce the things. But I get in there, I ring announce the matches, get my feedback from him after. And then it was AJ McKay, who I'll never be able to thank him enough. But he came up to me afterwards, and he's like, I see something in you. He's like, tell me about yourself. And I'm telling him, my background is a musician, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, do you do voiceover work? I said, yeah, I've done a good bit of voiceover work. Tell him the promotions I'm working. And he's like, add me on social media, hit me up. I'd love to have you come up here sometime for a tryout. So that's in the back of my mind. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then in typical Carmen fashion, I procrastinate. And wouldn't you know, it's like one of those things I'm just like, all right, I'll do that tomorrow. And then the Netflix show got announced.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to be like everyone else who the second the Netflix show is announced, they're like, oh, hey, Al, haven't talked in a while. Hey, by the way.
Hey, cool show on Netflix. You hiring?
Yeah. I didn't want to be that guy. So I waited for the hype. I don't want to say hype die down, but I waited for,
Things
the
to
buzz,
even out.
the
A
buzz for the show.
respectable amount of time.
What was it, 14, 16, 17 sellouts, whatever it was in a row
Yeah.
at the Davis Arena. And then once, things started to slow down a little bit, I was like, okay, now I can message AJ. And I didn't think he would message me back. I was like, hey AJ.
AJ's a great guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you remember me or not, but if the offer still stands, I'd love to come out. And he was like, absolutely. So he brought me out, introduced me to Al. Unfortunately, that night there were some technical difficulties, which I was able to just step in, help out. And I think that was kind of like hold on a second. So then the next week, they're like, okay, well, we have some dark matches. We'll let you ring announce those. And then they're like, oh, wait, he can do that? So then the next week it was, okay, well, you and Linda will split ring announcing on Overdrive. And then I think they kind of expected me to just go away, especially since I'm driving, 9 hours round trip every week.
Yeah.
And I just didn't. I've been here every week. I don't think I've missed a single Thursday yet.
You're generally the other dude in the suit.
Yes. So we alternate. We rotate Overdrive. Which, by the way, if you're not watching Overdrive, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Every Tuesday night, 7 p.m.
That's the show that always kicks out at 2.
It is.
And, with all due respect, if you watch this show, why are you not watching Overdrive? Like, what are you doing? Like, with all due respect, watch Overdrive.
But with Overdrive, some weeks I'm ring announcing and it's AJ and Eric on commentary. Other weeks, Linda's ring announcing and then it's me and Eric on commentary. And Eric and I think, get along pretty well. I think the first week I was definitely nervous, but everything since then, I've been able to get comfortable with Eric. We're able to joke with one another. Like that's one thing that I've absolutely grown to adore working Overdrive. Is just the little in jokes with Eric and I. A lot of times we'll come back and a wrestler make his way out. And we'll be like, hey, I saw you dancing over there. Like, it's just fun, man. I really enjoy it.
So you want to talk a little bit about Eric Cornish? You're the guy who's generally the main guy in the suit.
Yeah, so Eric and I don't know how far we go back. That's weird. He's looking at me right there. On the
so
wall.
Be careful what you say.
Don't look at me. I know we've been Facebook friends for years, and we've always been cordial with one another, but I don't think I could be mistaken. I don't think we met in person until the first week I came to OVW. He was like, oh, what are you doing here? And I was like, I'm just here hanging out. Oh. And then it ended up being like, oh, hey, we're coworkers now.
You're like, I'm hanging out. Hopefully they'll give me a job.
Honestly, though, Eric, I don't think – I think broadcasting in general when it comes to wrestling is often, underlooked.
Yeah. 100%, man. 100%.
But the way he's able to craft stories, able to weave things in and out on commentary, able to still crack a joke, but then immediately go back to, telling you the why things are happening. I love that. And then ring announcing, he is an excellent host.
Yeah.
Excellent. Once the camera goes off and it goes to commercial, he does not miss a beat. All right, Hot Point Davis Arena, don't forget, blah, 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 blah. Pay-per-view coming up, March Madness, March 29th, blah, 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 blah. Do we have any first-timers in the house? Birthday. He is such a party host. You can tell he worked in radio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's all over it.
And one of the first time, I guess when we sat down with him, I was like, so are you the only ring announcer that has a gimmick stand?
Oh, no. I used to, people used to hate me in this business because I would set up a merch table those are for the boys, and I was like, well, I don't know how to tell you this, but my rent needs to be paid too. like,
You're like-
like I've got a mortgage. I don't know what you want me to do,
You're like,
homie.
I've got all these CDs from my old band. They got
Speaking of which, prowrestlingtees.com/Carmen Michael. Pick up a shirt right now.
And what was the name of the band again? Plug that too.
Throne of Eden.
Throne of Eden. Okay. I used to play rock music.
No.
I will always give you the opportunity to plug your old band.
So the newest thing, this is actually the second the Chili's music video released. I'm like, okay, I know what to do. I'm gonna capitalize on this. Chili's 8x10s with a still of me from the music video. I took them to New South last weekend. In one day, they sold out. So I've got to get more before this weekend.
Yeah, please get more and make sure you bring some next time you're at OVW because we need one right next to Eric Cornish up here.
I can do that.
we would love one.
I can do that. You give me a week and I'll have more Chili's 8x10s.
So
Well, yeah, it needs to be the Chili's 8x10.
yeah,
for
that's
sure.
I'll take any of them, but I really want that one.
No one cares about the ones of me with Jay Lethal or Jonathan Gresham or like me ring announcing Richard Holiday or Matt Riddle or whoever. Like, they want the Chili's one.
Yeah.
Kennedy Ryan in the chat says those things sell fast.
Oh no, she knows. I'm a hot commodity.
Yeah.
Well, while we let your commodity cool off a little bit, why don't we get into our favorite section of the week? Predictions. I don't know how to imitate fire.
That's obvious.
Maybe we could get you to do us. AJ's been
Please.
very busy.
Please.
Yeah,
I need someone who's got a professional voice to give us Could you give us your best radio predictions? Excellent.
Yeah, that's much better than what he does.
Can we clip that out and use it every week?
Yeah, I don't want to.
Need to get it to 5 seconds. I need it to be a little longer.
Malachi,
You can stretch it.
Predictions.
We'll work on it after the episode.
Thank you, Malachi. That's two. That's
Malachi's
two in
in both.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, let's get into it, shall we, gentlemen? Let's start with reviewing last week very quickly.
I can predict that one spot on, by the way.
You know all those.
We can
things.
take bets if you want.
I'm good. Both of you correctly predicted that Anthony Coutinho would defeat Jordan. Say his name right, since I've never heard it before. Neither one of you predicted the.
You're not watching Overdrive.
Oh, look at that! I am called out.
Tuesday nights. This
I gotta binge
OVW
it.
TV on YouTube.
Look, we're probably coming back with coverage of it. I just got to watch it. Neither of you predicted that neither Eric Surge or Donovan Cecil would prevail in their match, and that it would actually go to a time limit draw.
No, that's like a fluke.
Which was, beautiful.
No, neither one of you. I'm not holding it against you. I'm just saying it didn't happen.
Just some
Rules is rules.
great stuff.
Both of you were banking with Justice and Showtime. Unfortunately, they could not pull it off over Beaches and Cream.
Well, we had guests.
Yeah, there was things going on. Yeah, that's true. I take your point there.
Hey, come on, man.
And both of you predicted Team Heel would lose or would win in the elimination main event from last week, and of course Dustin Jackson pulled out the victory in the end over Leather Daddy Doug Basham.
Good on Dustin Jackson last week, man. Truly, truly good stuff from him. Not like it's a surprise, right? Dustin Jackson's on fire. Who we got this week, though?
All right. We start this week's predictions. Lots of tag action this week in what we know. We start this week's predictions with Z versus Z in a form of Cal Hero and Super Z versus Star Rider and Evil Z.
A rematch.
Rematch. We've seen this before.
Little grudge match action going on. Man, I think that it's kind of obvious. I think that we're looking at Evil Z and Star Rider banking on the Jamin Olivencia factor here.
That was exactly what I was going to say, yes.
I don't think that they plan on winning this match inside of the ring. I think that they know based on Cal's kind of...
They've already won it up here.
They've already... Jamin's already kind of beat Cal down in his head. They've already won the match in one of the areas that it matters the most inside of their minds. And Jamin is just like, anytime he's around, it seems that Cal kind of can't mind his P's and Q's. The Star Rider and Evil Z know that. They're definitely, I feel like, going to continue to take advantage of that. They've gone to the pot twice on that. It keeps paying out. Why not try for 3?
Yeah.
The chat room seems to be with you guys. I don't want to ask about this prediction, Carmen, but I want to know, have you seen Jamin Levincia? Is he hanging out in the locker room, or is he just as mysterious?
I don't know where he's coming from, honestly. It's like he's sneaky. He's very, very sneaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost like he just pops in from another dimension or something. Just boop.
Amelia Jane predicts a mollywhopping in this match, by the way.
Now, I will say, I don't think there's one thing I think that a lot of us have overlooked, and we saw last week Brian Kennison was kidnapped.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can overlook the possibility that perhaps that Evil Z and Star Rider this week may have Brian Kennison tied up laying on train tracks.
Yeah.
Something equally nefarious. Absolutely. Something just as dastardly.
They are some dastardly gentlemen.
I feel obligated to do this with my mustache because you have used the word dastardly.
Oh, if I had a mustache, I'd be right there with you.
Let's move on to our second match, where we move to the women's division. This is what they are calling a March Mayhem qualification match.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly what that means, but we are intrigued. This is Leela Feist taking on the trauma train herself in the form of lovely Miss Larkin.
I'll let you go first, sir.
Buckle up.
Yeah.
Because
put it lightly.
You're in for a show. I can almost promise you that. Lovely Miss Larkin, very entertaining. Also very disturbed, but very intelligent, being that she is her own therapist. So I mean, you're the biggest can of crazy, best of both worlds, man, and I absolutely love it. I'm going with Larkin for sure.
So Leela Feist it kind of seems like she is having a lot of trouble getting off of the ground. That's kind of been her story.
Well, Ashton Adonis is holding her down.
Right. That's kind of been her story, her and Ashton Adonis, et cetera, et cetera. You guys see the same things that I see. I don't have to expand upon it much. Having said that, even if Leela Feist for anyone seems to be kind of easy pickings right now. Then you put in the lovely Miss Larkin of it all, this true tornado of a performer, this true tornado of a wrestler, this force of nature inside and outside of a ring. You couple that with kind of Leela's inability to maybe gain some self-confidence. We're going to session, baby. Sit down on that couch. Lovely Miss Larkin's winning.
All right, it's universal. Then let's move back to more tag team action, featuring one of our new favorite tag teams. It's not Guns N' Roses. It is Loud and Lawless, because they refused to use my name for them, the Rocking Chairs.
It wasn't, again. He came up with Hush Syndicate, which is good for Evans and De Niro. I said you just quit after that. You quit after Hush Syndicate.
I just can't quit. I'm not going to quit.
You can't stop the
I'm going
rock.
to start using that one. Whether or
And you
not
never
we
will.
use it like officially, Hush Syndicate is going to be
Using it unofficially is our
we
move.
hush people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you can use, we've been trying to get somebody to use it, so you go for it.
So Loud and Lawless are taking on Jesse Goddard's and America's. A Bride is already working it. Adam Revolver, human thumb, but now we like it.
Notice he's happy now. Can we zoom in on this?
We cannot. But
Aw.
we will take. He
I
now
will take
has.
I can confirm he is smiling.
I will take a picture and we will post it later.
We have so many
whoa.
pictures of your thumb on our Facebook, on our social media feed.
Are you sure it's his thumb?
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at him. So it better be his thumb. So what do you think of this tag team match, gentlemen?
In their short run previously, we saw a few handfuls of Goddard's and Revolver from a few weeks ago, earlier this year, upon Goddard's return. I did not expect to love them as a tag team as much as I did in this iteration of them. I think that kind of sky's the limit for them. I know Jesse, he has other things going on in his life that maybe makes OVW not as easy to attend all the time. But I think, honestly, if we were going Goddard's and Revolver consistently, they are the most frightening tag team in the entire division. I say all of that to say that I still think they'll probably win. But I am interested to see if, they have to shake off any kind of rust or that they will be on the same page, given that we haven't seen them compete with each other in a handful of weeks. Goddard's has been all over the Mount Kadim problem. So
Yeah.
And Loud and Lawless has definitely been getting in sync I think they're now equal. They have equalized the glitter between the two of them.
It's balanced out.
Yeah, so that's always good.
The
Brian,
the glitter ratio is very important, and
I know Eclairs just absolutely hates to see Von Rocket coming. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, they probably see him walk up and just the hat and the guitar. They're like, oh, "Damn, this guy again!" I swear to God.
And for what it's worth, a Hot Topic hates seeing Jake Lawless coming, but that's
All right.
for different reasons.
But the trips to the mall are entertaining nonetheless. I'm going.
That's what we need. We need
yeah.
a camera there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, actually, I would love to see something like that.
As much respect I have for Jesse Goddard and Human Thumb Atom Revolver, I'm Team Loud and Lawless all the way. Team Glitter for sure.
all right, a split decision amongst our hosts. Looks like the chat room seems to favor Loud and Lawless here, so they are behind you, Mr. Hines.
That's right.
Then let's move into.
I can't say I blame them. Loud and Lawless, in the short amount of time they've been together, they made so much sense immediately. Over the past few weeks, they have gelled. Their dynamic is simpatico. I can see where the chat's coming from, but it's Jesse Goddard's, man. It's Jesse Goddard's. It's Adam Revolver. Those two dudes love each other. Those two dudes know each other. They don't have to work on being simpatico. They just are. So
Ren says, I'm lactose intolerant, so I cannot root for skim milk.
Yeah, and that. Let's move on, shall we, to singles competition.
you know it's weird. I wasn't lactose intolerant until I got older.
That's weird.
I know.
Well, that kind of shoots that whole grilled cheese thing we talked about earlier, which
I can
means
still
more
do
for
with
me,
cheese.
baby.
I can still do with cheese.
Let's move on to singles competition now with Huta Peso taking on the man of 1,000 masks that he wears all at once, one Icon Lee.
You want to go? You want me to go?
You go first.
It's Icon Lee. Icon Lee is kind of he's on the precipice of breaking through. We see Hoda Peso. We see Hoda Peso kind of has transitioned into a tag team guy. I think that's kind of where his mindset is going to be. It's not that he doesn't know how to handle himself inside of one-on-one competition, but there is very few people inside of the OVW locker room right now, regardless of division or gender, who are hungrier than Icon Lee are right now. I think it's Icon Lee's night.
I'm going with Hoda, man. I'm going with my boy Hoda.
I love
Sure.
it when you guys argue. That always makes me happy. Definitely a good match. I think this is another. Is this a?
Yeah, and
Is
wait,
that a
and
qualifier? I think that's also.
and also
qualifying
wait
match.
for this Hoda and Icon Lee match, because it's going to raise the roofs or burn the house down or whatever you guys call it.
Burn the raised house down or whatever. Something.
Wait, we're in Kentucky, so it's burn the couch.
Only
Nah,
dear. Oh, it is
nah.
almost March, baby.
Yeah.
It is almost March, baby.
There may or may not be a UK game going on right now that I don't want to look at. So we won't even talk
well,
about
then let
that.
me check the scores and let everybody know how it's going.
Yeah, who's winning?
Let me grab my,
All
my
right.
phone
While
here.
you're doing that, I'm going to move on to more tag team action with the Hush Syndicate, as I like to call them. We hush people. Evans and. That's pretty
I'm
good.
just saying, if by chance the OVW crowd just started chanting "We hush people," I think.
I think it'd be pretty cool if by chance that happened.
And so that's.
What would the odds be if it did, though?
If they chanted what? We hush people?
It'd have to be a whisper chant, though.
Yeah.
That'd be the weirdest thing ever.
It's like the library chant.
All right, so Evans and De Niro are taking on Boy Toy Troy and Prime Jackson.
Oh man,
Eric Cornish's favorite tag team.
is Prime and Boy Toy?
Yes.
I don't blame him, man.
Oh yeah.
We're very partial. I'm a big Prime guy. You're a big Boy Toy guy. We're
Wendy
very
suggests
partial.
Hush Money for their name, which is maybe better than the Hush Syndicate, honestly.
Hush Money's pretty good.
Hush Money is pretty good, Wendy. Good
yeah,
job.
I love Hush Money. That sounds pretty good.
At the risk of sounding like I'm going with my sentimental favorites. Well, I can't. it's got to be the Hurt Syndicate or the Hush Syndicate. It's got to be Evans and De Niro.
Whoa, hold on a second. We got that budget.
Yeah, and wait till you see the end of the match. No, I love Boy Toy Troy and I love Primetime. I really, really do. I give Boy Toy Troy a ton of flack on this program and on our other show, and it's because
He has imaginary cake.
It's because he has such a good humor with himself, and he
Because he can pull off a crop top and we can't.
It's because he can pull off a crop top
That
and
is
we
true.
can't, and I'm jealous. And I would really love to say that that tag team is fully formed, that tag team is right here, that tag team has the chemistry of an Evans and De Niro, and they do. They're just not there yet.
They're on the cusp.
They're on the cusp.
So let's move on to what I assume will be our co-main events.
Wait, so I'm going Evans and De Niro, and you, sir?
Sorry.
If I'm going with my head, I'm going with Hush Syndicate. But if I'm going with my heart, I'm going with Boy Toy Troy and Star Player Prime.
So which one are you going with, head or heart?
I think my cousin, the Bandit from Columbus, would be upset with me if I didn't go with Troy and Star Player Prime.
Love division in this. Let's get to our main events. First, for the OVW Media Championship, we have our champion, Dustin Jackson, Louisville Zone, taking on the newcomer, Anthony Katina. Gentlemen, what say you?
Well, I'll ask our guest really quick. What do you think of Dustin Jackson? Kind of in the time that you started coming around, he's really taken off. What do you think about Dustin Jackson?
Dustin is an absolute workhorse. I think in the time that I've been here, I can't think of any shows, at least any big shows that Dustin has missed. He's always delivering, whether it's in a tag team, whether it's in the media championship division, whether he's challenging for the national heavyweight title, like night in and night out, he's consistently delivering match of the night. So
absolutely,
whether he's
Couldn't have put it better
conscious or
myself.
not, for crying out loud.
Yeah, you're right. He did kind of pull a coup mostly unconscious.
Yeah.
So it's Katina and Dustin Jackson.
For the Rush.
Katina, of course,
Or for media,
won the #1 contendership a few weeks ago. He's been I shouldn't say equally as on fire because Dustin's been doing it longer. But Katina has an argument for at least being heating up NBA Jam style. This is where that stops, though. This is where that stops. Dustin Jackson's going to be dunking into that hoop that's on fire. Katina is going to lose. And it's not going to be really – there's going to be no slack on Katina here because losing to Dustin Jackson is one of the easiest things anybody can do in OVW right now. Just ask Doug Basham.
WWE Fan Guy reminds me that Katina is not new to OVW. I may have said he was a newcomer. But he's returning.
New
He's
to
returned.
us. Yeah,
he's new to us. Brian, what are your thoughts?
Team Jackson, all the way. Dustin Jackson.
Right. Unity in the main event. All right. Our main event of the evening is an OVW Heavyweight Championship bout from the Revolution's own OVW Heavyweight Champion Mount Kadeem taking on the biggest of Zoes. Gentlemen, what do you think?
This one's left me kind of landlocked. Mount Kadeem, massive champion, right? Basically, it wasn't long after he came on that he joined the Revolution and took home that heavyweight championship.
Kadeem and I started at the same time.
Really?
Just for reference.
Okay.
I've been here less than a year.
So that was probably, July?
I
Early
believe
August?
that's around the time that he came in.
Yeah.
I know I came in I think I came in May of last year, and he was right behind me.
Yeah, it was kind of
And
in
he's
the spring.
already heavyweight champion with several successful defenses. I don't know who's going to be able to take it off him. If anyone can, it is Zoe. But with that being said, I know where I'm going to be tomorrow night, and that's going to be sitting down glued watching that match.
Yep.
This one really does leave me kind of landlocked because eventually Kadeem is going to run into an opponent that has him figured out, that he's just not going to be able to overpower, and he's just eventually he's going to meet his match. Is that person Zoe? Zoe has the credentials for it. Zoe has the
Certainly.
experience for it.
Yes.
People in OVW Davis, people at OVW, people in Davis Arena love Big Zoe.
And he loves the Fan Zone, by the way. You should check that out. He commented in the Fan Zone recently.
Yes.
We love you, Big Zoe.
Yes, we certainly do. That was very kind. Thank you so much for the kind words.
It's just really hard to say that it's really hard to imagine anyone beating Mount Kadim right now. I hope that I get to come on here next week and say that I'm wrong and that Big Zoe won. But here in the moment, I have to say that Mount Kadim retains.
Brian, as we're closing up, what do you think?
I wouldn't sleep on Big Zoe. Not only does he have the experience,
I'm not sleeping on him. I might be napping.
All right. He's got he's got the experience. He's got the pedigree. He's got the mind for it.
Mm-hmm.
And
You taking him?
yeah, well, obviously,
I don't know.
if you've got the mindset and you've got the energy and you've got the positive outlook that Big Zoe has. First of all, you're going to go far in life anyway. But in this particular case, Big Zoe, I think, is going to use that and to his advantage and come out on top tomorrow. And wouldn't that be something?
We are either going to have a straight heartbreaker or one of the best moments in recent OVW history.
And probably a country boy either way.
And, brother, after the day I had today.
Tell me about it.
All right, guys, we're coming right down to it
right
here.
here,
We're about to run over.
No.
Quickly,
You were the best part of the day.
OVW Rise is tomorrow. We got to get right to the calendar here. We have a super chat. It's a Kazago with $10. Peasants rejoice. Our shepherd graces us with his presence tomorrow on Rise, Icon Lee's domain. So the fans are catching on. That is Rise tomorrow, starting at 6:15, Hot Point Davis Arena, 4400 Shepherdsville Road in Louisville. It is the hottest place to be on Thursday night, and the hottest wrestling in the country happening right there.
And Cody Rhodes and CM Punk used to hang out there. They were talking about it on Raw.
Yeah.
Quickly, GCW returns to Wisconsin on
GLC,
Saturday.
GLCW.
My apologies. I'm rushing and messing it up. GLCW returns on Saturday. See a lot of OVW stars there. Check them out. Overdrive is Tuesday, right here on the YouTube feed. Next Wednesday, we are right back here for Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back. And stay tuned. Switch over to our channel right now. The OVW podcast is literally starting as we talk.
Take the party from the chat over there. We would appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Carmen, on the way out, where can they find you? And plug your band one more time.
Carmen M. Childers on all social media, and Throne of Eden streaming
right.
everywhere.
Yeah.
This has been the OVW Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back.